They also have two.
Okay, there we go. Jesus, man. I'm so sorry about that. My microphone disconnected for some reason, but we are back. All right, cool. We are finally live. And we have stuff to talk about. What's going on, y'all? Sorry for not streaming for a little bit. I decided to take a little bit of a break. And honestly, I mean, it seemed like the NBA was also kind of in the middle of a break here, so it was a good time to go ahead and just take a little bit of break for myself to kind of just, you know, come down from everything, because the NBA is like it's a it's a year-long thing, right? There really is no days off when it comes to NBA. I honestly don't know how I'd feel if I'm Shams, because it feels like there's no days off. But yeah, we had a little bit of a lull period. There's been a couple of moves that have happened, so I do think it's going to be important for us to go ahead and talk about a couple of those moves here across the league. We will then also be getting into this whole thing that has been released randomly from Jake Fisher and co. I haven't fully listened to this whole thing, so like you guys are gonna be able to you're gonna have to like kind of fill me in on a couple of things here. But let me know if there is anything that's important that I am gonna be missing when it comes to this whole Jake Fisher and them, and Jake Fisher's claiming that, oh hey, Golden State Warriors and Josh Giddey might have mutual interest or whatever. Let me know if there's anything significant about this here, because I couldn't tell you. I've listened to a little bit of it, but I didn't listen to all of it, so let me know if there's anything more important that I missed. Like I didn't listen to this whole thing that Jake Fisher had to say. I honestly don't know how much to trust Jake Fisher at this point. I thought he was trustworthy, and then recently he doesn't seem that trustworthy, so we'll see what comes of this. But we will talk about this here, because I do think it is important to talk about this whole idea of Giddey going to the Warriors and what that would mean for the Bulls. Other things is that, hey, Luka Doncic also got a 3-year extension here. We will talk about this here, what this means for Lakers, and why it's such a win for the Lakers here. I also don't think it's too bad for Doncic, and I'll explain why a little bit here. Basketball Hall of Fame also just got recently announced here of like who could be the inductees along with the presenters. So cool to see some stuff here. There is a familiar name on this list, I am aware. We'll talk about that, and then there's even just other random things that we can talk about today. There's a lot of kind of just quotes going around that are kind of interesting. So like first and foremost, this was released today by Action Network HQ, that apparently 49% of Bulls fans are satisfied with the team's performance over the past 5 years. I don't know about you guys, but I did not get this survey or whatever thing that they got asked. I was not a person that was a part of this, so my data is not in that whatsoever, so I'm a little bit annoyed by that. But yeah, interesting overall kind of stat that just randomly got sent out to us, where we're like, oh hey, this is something. But this got released, and then we got other quotes that I do want to talk about along with you guys here. So buckle up for we're gonna do a little bit of a short stream. We're gonna catch up on some things, talk about a lot of stuff here that I think is important to talk about. We're also just, again, one more time, just be looking at the Bulls' kind of current situation with their roster. Yuki Kawamura is officially on the Bulls on a 2-way contract, so that did happen from the last time that we did stream here, as the Bulls did go ahead and waive Jameer Young, which, not gonna lie, it's kind of... Sorry about that. Sucks for Jameer Young, but, this is what ended up happening, so to be interesting to see what is going to come of this here. But... We got some things to talk about when it comes to this Bulls roster. Some potential ideas. Is Vooch going to actually get waived here? Long story short, just buckle up for that sort of talk here. But first things first, I do want to go over some of the kind of bigger NBA news, which is that I think this was kind of the biggest one here, which is that Luka Doncic did go ahead and re-sign with the Lakers, or he signed an extension with the Lakers, excuse me. Luka had a player option after this upcoming season, so he could have accepted the player option, but we all knew unless he had a severe injury, he's gonna go ahead and not accept that player option. And so he is getting rid of that player option for the following season, and he is signing a 3-year extension with the Lakers, which is pretty huge. It's a major win for the Lakers, because they obviously made that humongous deal, which we all kind of think the Lakers won the deal, but you had to make sure that Luka was going to stay, and he's going to be here for the long haul. So they get Luka to sign this 3-year contract, which I think is pretty important. So good job by the Lakers to get this done. It's a good sign for them as well that Luka just was ready to just re-up with them. Seems like they've given a good impression to Luka, so that's a good sign. And so I'm hoping that this all works out. I'm really pulling for Luka this year because I'm honestly just sick and tired of people just calling him fat and out of shape and everything when he's basically putting up 28, 8, and 8. So I honestly want Luka to go ahead and succeed because I'm kind of sick and tired of this whole idea that, oh, you know, he's out of shape, he's not gonna, you know, age well or anything. I'm like, okay, come on, bro. Like, we're looking at one of the most talented players we've ever seen play basketball, and we're like, oh, he's out of shape, he's not doing well enough. And yeah, like I do think that there are some things that Luka still needs to kind of, you know, work on and, you know, maybe mature a little bit. But I think that this whole idea like, oh, he's not going to be a good player moving forward is just ridiculous from people. But yeah, big win for the Lakers here, as they don't have to even like worry about, oh, is Doncic gonna, you know, decline the player option and then just randomly leaving unrestricted free agency, because that was a possibility, right? And so they get to go ahead and just make sure we have Doncic locked in. And there's even rumors now that they're gonna go ahead and get Austin Reeves to sign an extension as well here. And let me tell you, man, the Lakers, like, you know, this year specifically with LeBron in his humongous contract, like, not exactly sure what else they can do. They got Ayton, which was obviously a humongous win. Overall, just getting a big man, which I know Ayton isn't exactly the greatest player in the world, but getting him was a win. I think Marcus Smart, you know, will help a little bit, but I don't really see this team like contending with OKC, right? I don't think a lot of us would. I think a lot of us would agree with that. Of like, oh, they're not going to come in and just randomly contend with Oklahoma City here, but to go ahead and see them get Luka is humongous, as this is his projected new extension coming in here. But if you look at this following offseason for the Lakers, so they got Doncic, right? And if Austin Reeves is gonna re-up, then they really don't have much money locked in. I mean, this is assuming that they don't bring back LeBron, right? Which is, I think, pretty important. But you would get rid of LeBron's massive contract, which is $52 million. And even with the lowered projected salary cap, I mean, their only active cap currently right now is $105 million. And so even if you go ahead and give Austin Reeves, you know, a $30 million contract for that upcoming season, then like you still have cap space to work with. And I think that's honestly, that's a pretty big win if you're the Lakers. Like, you could then, you know, get rid of some of the guys and maybe accept their player options here. But that's a massive win, honestly. You know, you got to get rid of all these cap holes and everything, but it's a massive win for the Lakers that they have Luka and then potentially Reeves kind of just here, and then they can kind of work around those two moving forward and kind of fill out the rest of the roster. It's crazy to say it, but like, they actually have financial flexibility, like a good amount of financial flexibility moving forward. They could mess it up, right? Like, this is not something where I'm like, oh, it's just going to be, oh, easy day, you know, for the Lakers moving forward. They're going to figure it out easily. Like, there are chances to mess this up, but, you know, they just have the opportunities to kind of work with some stuff here. So they're in a good spot if they can get Reeves to sign that extension, and we'll see, honestly, about it. I mean, the overall probably better thing for the Lakers would be if Reeves was like, he declines the player option, or honestly, the best thing would be if he accepts the player option, which he won't. But if, let's say, when he declines the player option, like, the best thing would just be like, oh, go into unrestricted free agency for Reeves. This would be the best case for Lakers, right? Is that he goes into unrestricted free agency, but like, he's just saying like, oh, I'm gonna re-up with you, Lakers. Don't worry about it. Don't think the Lakers gonna take that risk, but that would be the best case scenario for the Lakers, because then they can just re-sign Reeves with the bird rights. But I doubt that's gonna happen, honestly. But either way, though, you got Luka locked in, right? Getting Luka locked in, I think, was the biggest thing for the Lakers, and they got him locked in, and they're in a good spot. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they exactly do with now Luka locked in. Now, here's the talk about what does this mean with Luka, because some people, and I don't blame you, some people were looking at this as like, man, like, I don't know, like, did Luka kind of mess up here because like he could have potentially gotten more money if he decided to not re-up with the Lakers automatically, and instead, you know, put pressure on the Lakers to go and make moves to make sure like, oh, hey, we're actually gonna be a winning team. Like, Luka has that power, because he could just say, oh, I'm not gonna re-sign with you guys, I'm just gonna go into unrestricted free agency and then, you know, mull over my options, right? And so the Lakers would actually have to go and figure it out, right? They'd actually have to go and think about, okay, like, how do we make sure that Luka stays? But My only thing is just that I don't exactly know if that is the exact case here. Here's the thing. So like, yes, Luka probably lost out on a little bit of money, but the problem is with the current salary cap situation moving forward here, with the salary cap going down, or at least it's much lower than what we thought it would be. Luka re-signing is like not the worst thing in the world right now, because this basically just helps guarantee like, hey, he's gonna get this much money, and it now pretty much sets him up really well for when he gets to the end of this contract with his new extension here. When he declines this player option, if he's healthy, this is when he's a 10-year vet, which means that he's eligible for 35% of the salary cap, and that allows him to get 35% of whatever the salary cap is here, which is the biggest max contract you can get, right? So this is like, to me, I understand that there is some thoughts of like, hey, Luka probably did lose out on a little bit of money because we're going off of, you know, projections here, right? But I don't think it's really honestly that much, and because the salary cap projections are going to continue to go down, I think it might have honestly saved him a little bit. But the biggest thing is just that he now has all this money guaranteed before he hits his 10-year vet mark. And that, I think, is the biggest thing for Luka, was just to like, okay, get me the guaranteed money here now. I don't want to, you know, potentially think about, oh, we're going to have to, you know, switch teams to get my money or anything like that. And then once he gets to the 10-year mark, right, then he's eligible for 35% of the salary cap. He'll then, you know, maybe go into free agency. He'll go into free agency, but we'll see how much, or if he's just going to stay with the Lakers, or if he's going to potentially go to some other squad. I think he's just going to re-up with the Lakers. I think the Lakers are in a pretty good spot, honestly, with him at the helm. So it's going to be interesting, man. It's going to be a really interesting thing to watch, because I don't know how this whole dynamic between LeBron and Luka is going to work out, because very clearly I think Luka is now the priority for the Lakers franchise, as he should be. I don't know how much longer LeBron has. Like, I think this might be it for LeBron after this upcoming season, which, you know, it'd be a hell of a career. Just might be time to send him off, though. You know, he got his son, you know, guaranteed money here, so it's going to be really interesting just to kind of look at. But major win for the Lakers. I also think it is kind of a win for Luka, because I think that getting this money locked in now and setting him up for that Supermax contract in 2028 is going to be good for him. I think he's in a pretty good spot. But biggest probably news since we've last talked is this Luka Doncic deal. Major win for the Lakers. I think Luka overall, it's a solid win for him, assuming that the salary cap is going to continue to not be as high as we projected. But we'll see, right? If the salary cap goes up, then it will be an L for Luka. But and I'm talking about like if it's higher than these projections here. But I think overall, with what we're kind of hearing from regional sports networks and everything, like I think I wouldn't be shocked if the salary cap continues to be lower than what we thought. So I think Luka's in a good spot with this deal. And it's up to the Lakers to go and build a contender around him. Probably isn't this upcoming season, but 2026, I mean, you have a lot of financial flexibility here. Tradable contracts, even if Ayton and Smart decide to pick up their player options, right? There's a lot you can kind of do here if you're the Lakers. So probably biggest news since we last talked. Other big news when it comes to extensions. We did see here that here it is. De'Aaron Fox did sign his max contract, or got a max contract from the Spurs here. It's interesting to kind of talk like, or kind of read what people have thought about this on Twitter, because there's a lot of stuff on Twitter that's really interesting to kind of read about, like, oh, you know, did the Spurs mess this up? Like Fox, you know, was injured, and like with the way his game is played, like, is he going to age well? And I think that there are some valid concerns, but I think for the Spurs, like, they're in a really awkward position where, like, Wemby is so damn good now that, like, they can't really afford to just kind of hang around and just be like, oh, we're just going to keep developing guys, right? Like, Wemby's too good now. I'm not going to be wasting years of Wemby. Like, if I'm the Spurs as a franchise, I want to try to maximize Wemby as much as possible. Because no matter what, you at least have, like, ideally, like 7 more years of control of Wemby, assuming he re-signs on a 5-year contract, right? But you know, either way though, like, if you're a Spurs squad that is a smaller market, you're like, we have to maximize Wemby, and obviously Fox is very good. So I think this was overall, when I saw this, I'm like, oh, this is good job at the Spurs. But then some people started bringing up like, oh, this, and this. Yes, I'm aware that the whole backcourt between Castle, Harper, and Fox is weird. Like, I agree. I think it's really weird. Thing is, though, is that as much as I love Stephon Castle, I don't think he's going to be the starting point guard of that team moving forward. I think Harper, it's going to be between Harper and Fox, and they might just play together. But even if Harper is going to be fantastic, Harper's a rookie next season. So, as much as I want to believe, like, in Harper to be, like, come in and be fantastic, I don't think that he's going to come in and just suddenly be like, an incredible player. So, having Fox here, I think, is a good kind of bridge player to have if Harper's going to get there. But there's also just no guarantee that Harper gets there, right? So, keeping Fox and Wembanyama is great. Reminder to everybody that Fox does not have to be the main guy on the Spurs, right? Like, it's Wemby. So, this is a max contract for a guy to go and be the number 2 guy, right? And I think that's perfectly fine. Like, you're not expecting Fox to come in and try to do everything. The franchise is Wembanyama. It's not Fox. This is also just a max contract. I know some people like are acting as if it's like a super max. It's not. It's a max contract. So please, for the love of God, don't mix that up. It's a max contract, and so that's important to keep in mind. But I think this is a good job at the Spurs. You got him locked up. No talks about, because you just traded for Fox also. So like, you don't want to just lose Fox for nothing. After you just traded for him. So you keep him around. If you do need to move Fox, I think you're going to be able to do this if you're the Spurs. Like, I know some people are concerned about it being a max. The thing is that I don't think it's going to get there where, like, Fox is going to be, like, that bad of a player. Where, like, oh, you can't move him. But even if it, let's say, does get there, the Spurs have the assets to move Fox. Like, they're in a good spot. They have the assets to go ahead and move De'Aaron Fox. They're not in, like, a horrific position in terms of asset pool wise, and so like if it like becomes like necessary where Fox, I don't know, just like falls off a cliff or something like that, then they have the ability to move him. I'm sure some team will be willing to take Fox and some assets alongside it. So I think that this is a good decision at the end of the day. I know some people are going to be looking at this as like, oh, this is weird. For me though, I think it's a good decision. I think the Spurs did a good job with this. So we will see how this is going to work out for the Spurs. Expecting a leap for the Spurs, I just don't know how big of a leap. Like, I know I talked about this on this channel before. Like, I expect a leap, but I don't really know how far they're going to go. West is tough, man. I think some people forget just how good the West is sometimes. And so, like, I think they'll be a top 8 seed, but I don't really know if they're going to suddenly just jump up into, like, 5th or 4th or whatever, which I know some people think that they might. I understand Wemby's fantastic. I think Wembanyama is incredible, but I think that the Spurs, they have some issues they have to work out. Their 3-point shooting is a scare for me, especially with the backcourt right now. So I do think that they need some extra pieces to kind of help along. But they have gone out and done some moves this offseason that I think are good, and I think they'll definitely be better, just assuming Wemby's healthy. But overall, I think they're gonna show some massive improvements for the Spurs this year. So I'm looking forward to it. Other extension news, Joe Mazzulla just re-upped. This came out today, actually. So good news for the Celtics and everything, that Joe Mazzulla has re-upped with the Celtics. Sorry, I need to text somebody here. But yeah, not a big shocker here. Brad Stevens has done a lot of moves, but they are re-upping Joe Mazzulla for a multi-year contract extension. Makes a lot of sense. It's gonna be an interesting year for Boston. No Tatum for most likely the entire season, and they've traded away Holiday and Porzingis. But I overall do think that this is a good move for the Celtics. So we'll see what exactly the season beholds for them, because I do think Mazzulla's a good coach. It's just gonna be interesting to see how the season's gonna go out without having your main guy. A lot of pressure on Jaylen Brown. Kind of show up and it's gonna be like, hey, can you actually be a number 1 option and everything, which he doesn't need to be. But I still think the Celtics will be good at the end of the day. Sorry about that. Other news though, I just saw on my phone actually, so this is cool. So we do know that no longer are we going to be having TNT, which I think is a win. I overall think that is a big win. Just for the just to help the game. As much as I love Ernie Johnson, it's the other three that I'm a little bit annoyed about when it comes to TNT. And I'll forever love the Inside the NBA crew, but I think it got to a point, man, where we're just like, I just can't stand listening to Chuck and Shaq and Kenny just talk about like how much they don't like the game and like how much they hate this team and how much they do this and that. And it's really annoying when former players, where I feel like their time as part of the game has just kind of like passed over, and like they're hell-bent on like their old ways when the game evolves, right? But we are officially, you know, TNT had their last season with the NBA. Inside the NBA, you know, had their, you know, send-off year. But big news is that we just got the opening night matchups here, which is gonna be October 21st, and it is on NBC. So it's humongous with to me, at least, when it comes to getting the game to be more shown, right? The NBA is gonna be at NBC, which means that like no matter what you can watch the NBA through no matter what TV provider you have, whether it is any streaming services or cable provider. But you can also just watch it for free. If you have antenna, you can watch opening night of the NBA for free. Like, you don't need to make sure that your cable provider has a contract with Turner, right? I think this is huge. Like, I genuinely believe that this is a humongous deal for the NBA and their outreach to the audience. And so to get this here, I think is great to see that opening night is on NBC, which is what we expected. Opening night matchups is going to be Houston Rockets at Oklahoma City Thunder, so we get to see obviously ring night, which is expected. We'll see the 1 and 2 seeds of the Western Conference from last season face off against each other early. So that's going to be fun. We're going to see Kevin Durant go to Oklahoma City. And I mean, that's going to be a fantastic matchup right off the bat. We also then get the Lakers and the Warriors, so we're going to see, you know, LeBron, Doncic versus Steph Curry, Jimmy Butler, and whoever else the Warriors are going to... I don't know what the Warriors are going to be doing, honestly, this offseason. They got a lot of work to do still. But those are the two opening night matchups here that is nationally broadcasted on NBC. So even if you don't have a cable provider, if you don't have any sort of streaming service or anything like that right now, you can watch this game for free. Okay, this is a game that is going to be over the air on NBC. Okay, everybody can watch these games, which is humongous in my opinion. This is humongous. So I'm looking forward to seeing overall just kind of ratings for opening night, but I also am very, very interested in seeing how the broadcast is going to go. You know, I think NBC is going to have a interesting time with the broadcast. I'm looking forward to the desk to be a hell of a lot better than the Inside the NBA crew, and I'm looking forward to seeing how the broadcast goes. I'm sure there's going to be some kinks that have to work out here, but I'm interested in seeing how this broadcast will go here. So, looking forward to opening night. I mean, we're approaching it, right? It's still August, but we are approaching opening night here. So 21st is opening night on NBC. It is on NBC. Anybody can watch it if they want to. It is free. And honestly, I'm sure many Bulls fans, you know, if they kept their antenna when Chicago Sports Network was still available via antenna, like if you kept that antenna, you're able to watch this for free. So please, I'm looking forward to opening night here. Other news that is important is that we just got the Christmas Day matchups, which I'm sure some team got screwed out of Christmas. But either way, we got Cavs and Knicks first game, Spurs and Thunder second game. That's interesting. Looking forward to that matchup. Rockets and Lakers is going to be the third game. Mavericks and Warriors. I don't really understand that matchup. Won't lie. Timberwolves and Nuggets. So we have 4 games, 8 teams that are from the Western Conference, and 1 one matchup that's in the Eastern Conference. That's crazy. Yeah, the NBA is heavily leaning into the Western Conference, which I don't blame them, but it is kind of crazy just to kind of see like the Pacers didn't make it. Pacers were just in the finals. Now, granted, I understand the Halliburton's out, but no Pacers. They didn't make it. Cavs made it, and you know that it is what it is. The New York Knicks, they always play on Christmas, so that's a shocker. So East is bad. Not gonna lie. So it's not shocking to see the NBA leading into the Western Conference. Some good matchups here. I don't really understand the Dallas and Warriors matchup, honestly. That one doesn't really make much sense to me, but I'm sure it'll be interesting. Just, you know, Kyrie's out. But it is Cooper Flag, so I guess it makes a little bit more sense in my head. Nuggets Timberwolves gonna be a great matchup. I'm looking forward to that matchup on Christmas Day. So pretty good Christmas slate, assuming no more injuries, which, you know, can't always assume that in the NBA. All right. I'm checking in on one thing here. Sorry about this, y'all. Give me 1 second. Sorry, hold on. I need to cut my music, and I need to hold on. One second. Sorry. Sorry. I'm seeing how much of a desync um my mic and the audio for some reason, or like my picture and the audio for whatever reason it is. I don't understand why it's that bad. Um Hold on. I'm gonna do this live on air, and I do apologize. So just give me a second. Um, Hold on. I'm trying to fix this. Test. No, that's still pretty bad. Hold on. I'm gonna do this a little bit more. Alright. Now let's test this. Alright, hold on. I went too far. Right. 1 sec. Alright, Chuck. 1, 2, 3. It's still awful. God, man. I don't know. I don't know why it's so bad. Um, hmm. Let me. Okay, I'm gonna restart my OBS. It really shouldn't be this bad. The fact that it is this bad is a really annoying problem for me. And I'm annoyed by it. So, let me restart my OBS. I'm gonna restart here. I'm gonna hide my screen and restart. So give me 1 second. All right. Let me test this out. I am back, so I'm glad to see that the feed is saying I'm back. So give me 1 second. Okay, sorry. That looks a lot better all of a sudden. Like I guess just I just need to restart my OBS again. Like that's just so annoying. Ugh. Oh, sorry. Okay, hold on. All right, music's back on now. Yeah, all right. I don't know. This has been just a consistent issue that I've looked into, and I honestly I still can't figure out a consistent solution. So I do apologize about this. I wish I had like a real-time editor that like could tell me like, oh hey, like this is off. Honestly, I don't know. I'm really annoyed by how bad it is sometimes. So it looks good now, which is the good news. If it continues to be bad, then I'm gonna have to look into some things here. But it's fixed now, so we're gonna continue here. All right, let's go ahead and continue on some of the other topics I want to touch today. Alright, I'm just trying to really make sure that this looks good. And I think we're good. Why does it say no data? What? YouTube? Come on. Alright, now we're good. Now we're back to Xcode. Alright, I apologize about the technical difficulties in the middle of this. I hate doing it in the middle of stream, but I have to fix it. Yeah, now it's really annoying me, the fact that the VOD's gonna look pretty bad. The first hour. The first hour of the VOD is just gonna be like, oh god. Yeah, that's annoying, but it is what it is. Alright, we're good now, though. Okay. Let's move on to probably a topic that I don't really know if is really that important. But it is always gonna be the talk of the town because like everybody is so obsessed with this. For some reason, and I don't know why, like there are Bulls fans that get anxiety about this whole situation, and I'm like, I feel like if there's ever a free agency situation that you shouldn't really get that much anxiety about, it's this one. Like if let's say Giddey was an unrestricted free agent, then like yeah, I would have a lot of anxiety about it. But the way some Bulls fans talk about this, man, it's really funny to look at. But either way, let's look at this. So we got news, I guess, if you want to call it news, that from Jake Fisher, which I don't know where we're at when it comes to Jake Fisher these days. Like he's gotten some stuff right in his day. So like he has some connections when it comes to getting the info and releasing it on time. I feel like he peaked though in terms of the correct info like 2 years ago though. So like I don't really think it was this offseason where he was right. Like, or right most of the time, I should say. He's not always the fastest either. So, like, I don't really know how much to trust the info Jake Fisher always gives out. But, this has been released, from Jake Fisher on the Bleacher Report, app, that Golden State and other Eastern Conference teams, quote unquote, are interested in acquiring Josh Giddey via sign and trade. Now, Drew Stevens added this part in saying, like, but not enthused about working with AK and Mark Eversley to do so, which honestly, that makes a lot of sense if that is true. If that is true, like, oh, like, you know, other teams just don't want to work with AK and Mark Eversley when it comes to a Josh Giddey sign and trade, like, yeah, I also wouldn't want to work with them either, which is why the Bulls are in a pretty good spot right now when it comes to trying to get Josh Giddey on a team-friendly deal. Also, apparently, Kobe White is seeking more than $30 million on his next contract. That's not a shocker. Like, that should be expected. In all comparisons, like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So, that's not news from Jake Fisher, really. But let's talk about this. Are the Golden State Warriors actually a threat to get Josh Giddey away from the Bulls via sign and trade? Let me just say right off the bat, I honestly have no idea how the hell the Warriors would be able to do such a move. Like, it doesn't make much sense for me, in terms of just where they are financially. They also are a team that cannot make a sign and trade and take back that much money because they are very close to the first apron, and making this sort of move would put them past the first apron, and I don't think they want to do that this year. Because I'm assuming, maybe I'm wrong with where they're at, but like I'm assuming that they want to go ahead and use the mid-level exception this season. And so them signing trading for Josh Giddey would hard cap them, and therefore they would not have enough to use. They would not have enough money to like use a mid-level exception on. So I honestly don't know what the plan is for Golden State. But either way, though, doing a sign and trade for Giddey, once again, base year compensation really complicates things. Like the best thing that I can just kind of think of off the top of my head is that somehow it's gonna have to be like Moses Moody, and someone else going out, and like Giddey only gets like $20 million a year. Because you know you half of 20 is 10, so like that's Moses Moody. The Bulls can take back a little bit more after that, but you need to send out more for Golden State to take back $20 million. And so like that's on the cheaper end. Like I honestly I don't understand like why the Warriors would necessarily do that, but maybe that's a plan. The biggest thing though is that they're trying to get rid of Jonathan Kuminga, and it would be very weird if they did a idea of a Kuminga for Giddey swap. But the problem yet again is base year compensation. If they both get $20 million, you can't swap them for each other because base year compensation comes into play there. So just the idea of a Kuminga and Giddey swap, it's very Bulls because I think it's a terrible move. It's funny to think about because it seems like both these teams are kind of just at a standstill with both these guys. And yeah, so we'll go and get the other guy that's at a standstill with their team, I guess. But I honestly, I feel like for Golden State, it is just this would not help them really. I think the best thing for Golden State is that you just re-sign Kuminga, you don't hard cap yourself, and you use Kuminga for some sort of trade piece, but you make sure it's on a team-friendly-ish deal. That's what I think. Like it's best for both sides. Like Kuminga gets paid a decent chunk of money, and he gets to go somewhere else and get out of Golden State. Like Golden State can maybe use him for something. So we'll see. I don't know. For the Bulls, like I know a lot of Bulls fans want Kuminga, but I mean, like I think trading Giddey for Kuminga makes absolutely no sense. Like getting Kuminga here would be like an idea, I guess. I'm not the biggest fan of him, but if you're able to get him for cheaper than like $25 million, then sure. But that requires probably trading IO, and I don't think it's worth it. So I personally don't understand this, honestly. For either squad, don't really understand where this is coming from Jake Fisher, but Viper Strike did put in my Discord like, hey, yeah, this is probably just like both teams, like, or both agents for both players of like, hey, yeah, there's definitely a market out for these guys, so sign them now if you're the incumbent team. And I honestly think that's probably what this is. It's just a word out to the world that like, it's trying to up these guys' value when there is no market for them, to put pressure on the Bulls and the Warriors to re-sign them to bigger contracts and give in to their demands. There's also then like the Brett Siegel report that many Bulls fans or Bulls YouTubers have made YouTube videos about, which I respect the hustle, but honestly, I'm like, I don't think it's news. Like, I think that's kind of like the whole Brett Siegel report basically said it was like 3-year contract, gonna be between $65 to $70 million for Giddey. I'm like, that's not really news. Like, that, we don't know if that is the case, but like, I've also kind of said like that's kind of the goal that I think is gonna, like, it's probably gonna end up being something like that for Giddey and the Bulls here, because Bulls are in a pretty good spot when it comes to operating of like in terms of the money. But I think Giddey's camp, the one thing that they can do is say like, we're only gonna sign a 3-year contract. That gets Giddey to the 7 years of experience mark if he signs a 3-year contract. And then that allows him to get, if he, let's say, becomes an all-star, then he would be up for a major payday once he's at 7 years of service time, because if you have 7 years of service time, then you're eligible for 30% of the salary cap for a max, right? So basically what De'Aaron Fox just signed. So I think that that's like, if it's gonna be a team-friendly-ish deal on 3 years, like, yeah, the 3 years would probably be a little bit of an L for the Bulls. And for Giddey and his camp, that's a win if you only get it to a 3-year contract. For the Bulls, like, I think if you're the Bulls right now, you want you really want like a 4-year, $80 million contract and, you know, team option on the 4th year. You're probably not going to get that, but again, what sort of operating power does Giddey have, or like what sort of position of power does he have besides maybe arguing about the years? So I think the Bulls have done a good job with this whole Giddey free agency. I think that they've done a good job of using their leverage. They did not repeat what, you know, they did with Patrick Williams. They did not try to jump the market. Okay. They, you know, basically said, we basically dared Giddey to go and get a contract. He has not gotten one, and it's August 8th, so we're like 37 days in free agency, and he still has not gotten a contract from another team. So this is going to go on for a while. Like, I fully expect that this is going to go on for a decent amount of time. I expect, like, I wouldn't be shocked if this goes into September. The Brett Siegel report, again, I don't know how trustworthy he is. He said it's going to happen in August. Like, we saw Isaac Okoro sign his deal in September. So I just wouldn't be shocked if it does go to September and this just keeps dragging on and on and on. So we'll see. Maybe a domino needs to fall for Giddey, where like the Kuminga deal gets situated and then maybe some other team wants to maybe target Giddey. I doubt it though. You know, working out a sign-in trade's pretty tough. So I think the Bulls done a good job. Bare minimum with where the current situation is at, you need to get this to under $25 million annual average salary for the Bulls. If it's more than that, I think you did a bad job. So I honestly think that the Bulls have done good. Just don't mess it up now. We will see what's going to happen here moving forward, but that is what it is. Why would people not want to work with AK? They can probably get second-round pick from him for fun. I think that they honestly, like, it's honestly a really weird situation where I think this is the one time where, because this Giddey is a guy that the front office like targeted, right? That I think that they think the front office really values that guy, right? Like, for example, with Vooch, right? Like the Bulls have been dead set on trying to get hella good value for Vooch, right? Because they targeted him, right? Like, that's a guy that AK himself targeted and traded for. And so they don't want to part with him because that's a guy AK wanted, right? So I honestly think that's why. Like, I think like the rest of the league is just like, well, I mean, we can't steal Vooch away for like, you know, a couple second-round picks, which is an absolute overpay by us. Like, you know, if they're gonna trade Giddey, which they highly value clearly, then it's gonna take an absolute haul to get him. So I think that's the reason why when it comes to AK, because in this sort of situation, it's actually not AK trying to target anybody. It's actually like, it would be like, hey, you're trying to steal someone away from AK's like guys, right? Like, this is AK's guy. This is the guy that he wanted for Caruso. Like, this is just kind of one of those weird situations where like AK and Mark Eversley, like, they're in the other way around, where it's like, oh, we're pretty stingy on things, when instead of when, you know, they have a trade asset that instead they should try to maximize value for, they traded him away for for a specific guy, which lowers their trade value. This instead is, no, we really like this guy. We traded for this guy. You're not getting this guy. So I think that's kind of the reason why. It's this weird whole thing with the front office. Because again, like they traded for Vooch. They haven't traded Vooch yet, which is so stupid, but that's how they are. So I think that's the reason why. But you are right that this front office is stupid as hell. It would be so AK Mark Eversley to make a stupid decision. Like if they decided to sign and trade Josh Giddey and they throw in a second round pick just to help the team that is doing the sign and trade. So it would be them. I don't think it's going to happen though this time. They very clearly like Giddey, so I'd be very shocked. Yeah, this is major news, I guess, but I honestly just think that this is just a ploy by Giddey's representatives to try to increase Giddey's non-existent market right now. So if you're the Bulls, hold your ground. Nothing's happened yet, and like I said, if Giddey finds a way to get a contract for some other team, we match it. Which I think every other team knows that, so like they're not going to offer him a contract. So you are in a great position if you're the Bulls right now. Just stick to your guns. Just stay here and just tell Giddey, hey, we dare you to take this offer that we have on the table. It's the best you're gonna get right now because no other team is offering you this much money either. So take it. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what's gonna happen here. But I honestly think we know the conclusion at this point. So good job by the Bulls. But we'll see. I could be wrong. All right. Other Bulls things I do want to talk about is this. So, if you are in chat right now, or if you're watching this on the VOD, let me know if you ever got this survey. I honestly don't know who the hell Action Network HQ is. I'm sorry. Maybe I should know. I don't really know who this is, but this is track your bets, odds, news, and data stuff. So, I'm not a betting person, so it makes a lot of sense why I don't know what Action Network is at all. But apparently, according to Action Network HQ, in a recent poll done by them, it showed that 49% of Bulls fans are satisfied with the team's performance over the past 5 years. I obviously am not a part of this whole thing. Was never asked to give my opinion on this, but if I did give my opinion, I would not be satisfied at all. I would not be adding to that 49% of satisfied Bulls fans. I honestly wonder what was the sample size? Like, was it just 10 people or something like that? Or was it actually thousands of fans? How do they determine that you're actually a Bulls fan in this whole thing? So I have a lot of questions about this poll. Don't know how legit it is, but apparently also 76% said instead of just saying satisfied, the other of the 76% said neutral. So 49% said satisfied of the 76%, and the rest of them said neutral. So that means basically 24% said that, yeah, we don't like where we're at, which is just excuse me, only 24% of Bulls fans said that they are not happy with the Bulls' current performance of the past 5 years. That's funny to me, honestly. So I really want to know who was able to take this poll, because it was definitely not me. And I'm guessing a lot of people also were not asked for this. I don't know how many people are gamblers in this community, but I'm not a gambler. So yeah, interesting sort of people to just randomly just ask yeah, you're a Bulls fan for sure. We're gonna ask you how satisfied you are over the past 5 years of the Bulls performance. It'd be interesting to see. If I was to guess, they went through ticket holders of last year or something like that. Okay, maybe if they did go through ticket holders, that's a better grouping of people and a little bit more legit. But I don't know, honestly. I have some doubts about that still. But that'd be a good group of people to ask. So good. Again, I did not go to a Bulls game, so I am not a ticket holder. But that'd be a good group of people to ask, I guess. But still, though, Chicago's one of those weird cities where some people just go to Bulls games and they're not really fans. So I don't know. Maybe there's some people that you really shouldn't be asking this question to, but it is interesting to think about. Rigged? I mean, yeah. Someone definitely got into this and rigged it, maybe. Small email list? Oh, some email list, yeah. I can definitely see an email list for sure. Yeah. So, maybe it's that. But yeah. Funny that this was brought up on CHGO. They have some fun things to do. Some don't remember the Jordan and D Rose days. I mean, yeah, I don't remember the Jordan day because I was not alive for it, but yeah, I'm sure that some people, they're satisfied now because they never saw anything good from the Bulls before. So nearly 500 record. Wow, we're doing great, guys. Maybe some only remember the first rebuild years of, when we traded Jimmy Butler and we got Markin and Dunn and Levine back. Maybe that's all they remember. So, the last 5 years are great, according to them. Yeah, I hope that's not the case, though. That's disappointing if that is the case, honestly. Other news here. So this has been brought up because if you do not know, Caitlin Cooper, who is does a phenomenal job when it comes to covering the Pacers, she did a interview with Rick Carlisle, and Carlisle said a pretty interesting quote. I'm not gonna lie. Carlisle brought up in this quote talking about how the NBA keeps evolving and how the days of building a team of having 2 to 3 really great players and they have the ball mostly and they're basically doing everything on offense are over, and now it's almost more important to have really good players on the squad to make sure your team is well rounded. And it's then of course now sparked a bunch of discussion of oh hey, isn't this what AK said, right? About NBA roster construction, because AK kind of said you can either build a team around 2 to 3 players and you fill out the role players around them, or you have a team full of 9 to 10 solid players. And it's now sparked this whole discussion again because it's just oh, was AK right? Let me just first just tell you this, okay? If we're classifying Tyrese Haliburton and Pascal Siakam as just good players, then we are seriously wrong with our analysis on this. Both those players have been multiple-time All-Stars. Both those players have been All-NBA players multiple times. Okay, Tyrese Haliburton made the All-NBA team last season as on the third team. Pascal Siakam's made it twice, and Haliburton made it the year prior. So I just, if we're classifying as those guys as just good players, then we're I don't know what the hell then. I mean, what do we classify as Victor Wembanyama, Luka Doncic, and Shea as then? Are we classifying those as never before seen one of a kind players then? That's insane to me. But look, Haliburton and Siakam are not just good players. They are all-stars and arguably they're consistent all-NBA players. I think Siakam at this point, maybe in his career, he's more just an all-star, but Haliburton has turned into honestly what I would call a superstar. I know a lot of people don't want to give it to him, and maybe he is fringe superstar, but either way though, we're still talking about guys that are much better than just good players. Okay, so it is interesting to hear Rick Carlisle talk about that. But here's what I do think is important to say. He specifically said hey, it's not necessarily about the NBA now of oh, we just have 3 guys that we just kind of do, they just kind of do everything on offense. Maybe it's more so focusing on that, where you have not just those guys on your squad, but also then really good players around those guys on offense to help them. I do think maybe Carlisle was trying to make a point about hey, depth is very important in today's game, and I would agree. I do think that depth is extremely important in today's game, especially now. Guys across the board, you need to have 3-point shooting everywhere. You need to have good defenders on all levels, and you need to have positional versatility. I think that is very true. I do think that guys like Derek White, for example, are extremely valuable in today's league, where yeah, he's not necessarily an all-star, but he's a very good player, and he is extremely valuable in today's game. And you can throw Derek White on any roster right now and he'd be a very important player. However, with that being said, I do not think that you can take Derek White and then build around Derek White. Okay, there is no way at least in my opinion, that you can go and make a team full of 10 Derek Whites and go and win an NBA championship. Okay, I just don't see a possibility of that happening. I just can't see it. Hell, we just saw the MVP win the NBA championship this season. Okay, So I don't want people to just kind of maybe screw what Carlisle was saying, because I still think Carlo, if you had to guess, like if I had to ask him again about this whole quote, I think Carlo would say, like, yeah, having Dirk Nowitzki on the 2011 team was pretty important, and having Tyrese Halliburton and Pascal Siakam, they were extremely important, and we would not be in the NBA Finals without them. Okay, but I do think that he's more so emphasizing that, like, hey, like, instead of only focusing on getting the stars, like, you have to also really make sure you have the depth around these guys. So maybe that's what he's saying, but no matter what, like, even if you want to say, like, okay, you don't need two, like, guys, like, superstars to build around, I still think you need one. Okay? I still think no matter what, you need one guy. You need one guy that is your main guy, right? And so whether you want to, like, debate between a Siakam or Halliburton this past run for the Pacers, like, you arguably had two guys, right? But either way, those two guys, they're all NBA caliber guys. Maybe they're not MVP caliber guys. Maybe that's what Carlisle's trying to say, is like, maybe they're not MVP caliber guys. But I would argue that Halliburton's kind of sneaking into that conversation now. But no matter what, you still had all NBA caliber guys leading this team. Yes, the Andrew Nemhards, the Aaron Nesmiths, the bench play of T.J. McConnell, and Obi Toppin, they were also vital. But I don't think that Pacers squad is going anywhere without Halliburton, hitting every clutch shot and straight up running the engine for that Pacers squad. So now all of a sudden, Bulls fans are like, oh, see, like, what AK and co are doing is great. I'm like, no, they're not. Like, first and foremost, I don't think the role players for this Bulls squad are anywhere near what the role players were for that Pacers team. Okay, like, if we're gonna try to compare what Kobe White can do, and like, I guess it's not the best comparison, honestly, but like, either way though, like, we see on this squad, you have too many guys that are not two-way caliber, right? Kobe White is not a good defender, but he can score. But then you got guys like across the board on this team where it's like Patrick Williams doesn't really score, but could be a good defender. We'll see about Buzelis here, but like, guys like Dalen Terry and Julian Phillips are mostly just good defenders if they are anything. There isn't really any of that depth at all. So first and foremost, you're wrong about just the depth piece for when it comes to this Bulls squad. But then the idea that, like, oh, Giddey doesn't have to be an all-star to, like, be leading this squad anywhere, I'm just like, you're out of your mind. Like, no matter what, the Pacers still had two all-star caliber players leading this team. And you can't just tell me that, oh, Kobe doesn't have to be an all-star to be, leading this team to a championship, run. I'm like, this team needs to have a all-star on this squad no matter what. It's like, I can't get over that part of just like, oh, like, yeah, we're gonna somehow win without an all-star. Like, that's not gonna happen. Okay, we need an all-star. Maybe you just need more depth than it comes to, like, super, like, multiple superstars on the roster, but you need a guy. No matter what, I don't really care what you think. Like, I still think the Bulls don't have that guy. Like, I just don't think they have that. Maybe Buzelis is going to be able to become that. I don't know. But I don't think the Bulls have that. And so until we get that, I still think that this whole idea of just like, oh, depth is really important right now. I'm like, that might be all good and dandy, but you can't just win with just good depth. Like, you need to have a guy. And I don't think this Bulls team is going anywhere without that right now. So, it's important, obviously, to keep developing guys, even if they don't turn into, like, the main guy. Like, even if, let's say, Buzelis doesn't turn into a superstar, like, I still think it's important for his development. Same with Senge. Right? I think Senge, like, you see maybe superstar potential with him, but the biggest thing for him is just to develop into a good player. Like, that is important. I'm not denying that. Like, if you're trying to think like, oh, Duncan's saying like, oh, we don't need to, if he's not going to develop into anything like all-star caliber, then just get rid of him. Like, I'm not saying that. Like, I do think developing these guys to be quality NBA stars is a very important thing to do, but if you don't have these guys to lead your team, then where are we going? That's why, taking the risk on Senge, I think, is important. And the Bulls need to find a way to take some other risk to potentially get another, superstar potential on the squad, at least in my opinion. Maybe you don't need two. Maybe you just need one guy. Maybe you just need that one guy, and, the Bulls don't need more all-stars after that. Like, okay, sure. but still though, I don't see the guy on the roster yet. So that's just my whole thing about it. For most NBA history, you have to have two great players and a solid third player. You had a chance. I think the league wants to go back to that. You had two great players and a solid third player. I mean, maybe we are going back to that, right? Maybe, like, let's just take the Lakers for example. Like, maybe you're taking the Lakers of just like, hey, you have Luka, you don't really need a second bona fide superstar for Luka, but Austin Reeves is like your number 2, and then you have like a number 3 really good player. Like, sure, like I can see a world where that happens, but again, you have Luka at the end of the day. So maybe I think maybe he was trying to make a point that you don't need a top 5 player to win. But Viper Strike, do you think you at least need a top 10 player then? It's like, I can maybe see the argument where you don't need a top 5 player, right? But I think at bare minimum you need like you need a guy that is in the conversation for being a top 10 player bare minimum. That's at least in my opinion. It's just had a direction and have a direction and a great head coach. Bulls have neither. I mean, yeah, Carlisle is obviously a very bona fide Hall of Fame coach. Like, yeah, Bulls don't have Tyrese Halliburton walking through the door. And yeah, I know Halliburton is injured, but still. No one is close to the level of Pascal Siakam on this Bulls team either. So I really think that I really do think that the Bulls have a ways to go. But either way, though, I still look around the league, right? Like, when I look across the board, so like, he's still like the Boston Celtics when they get Tatum back. It's still Tatum's a superstar, right? Or even if you don't like with the most recent playoff run, even if you don't think that, you're still looking at a guy that is all NBA caliber player, okay? Like no matter what, Donovan Mitchell, same thing, right? And Evan Mobley is a two-way great player. At the end of the day, I mean, the Knicks. The reason why I don't have as much faith in them is because I don't know about Jalen Brunson and his ability to perform in the playoffs, but still. You know, all NBA caliber player in Jalen Brunson and also Cat. And this is just the Eastern Conference talk. But we haven't gone out west yet. And, you know, Bucks with Giannis, Pacers with Halliburton, Siakam. The Magic have Banchero and Wagner as 2 guys. Like, I'm still looking at the same thing of, like, these teams are still having guys that I'm like, these are still all NBA caliber players. That means that I still look at them as, like, any given season, these guys can be a top 15 player in the league, right? The Bulls just don't have that. Like, talk to me when we have that. Like, if we have a guy that I'm like, oh yeah, he can make an All-NBA team, and then we can talk about the rest of the roster construction, sure. I'm all ears, and I'm willing to discuss it. But, you know, if you want to go ahead and go the route of like 9 to 10 really good players around this All-NBA caliber talent, then okay, sure. But either way, we don't have that guy yet still. So yeah, I'm just still like in this like Jesus man, like I still think we're off about this. Like that's how some Bulls fans are talking. Like I don't know if you guys know who this is. This is Paulie G. Like he's NBA Index, and like he talks a lot on Twitter about like how much he likes what AK does and everything, and then he'll later then make a whole post about like I was wrong about this or whatever. But like he has been trying to like say that AK is saying the truth about this of like. The NBA is changing. See, like we're witnessing the change about like, yeah, we just need 9 to 10 really solid players to go and win a championship. I'm like, when has this happened? Like, there has not been a team where I'm like, oh yeah, like the team did not have an all NBA caliber player on their roster. I don't see that. Like, I don't know. I just don't see it personally. So, it's a very odd situation. That I'm really trying to figure out when it comes to, how some Bulls fans look at the roster construction. But to me, this is, you know, it's a discussion for when the Bulls actually have an all NBA caliber talent. Then we can talk. So I don't really agree with what Paulie has to say a lot of the time. Buzelis can develop into that, but he's not it right now. I mean, I hope, man. If Buzelis actually becomes like an all-star caliber player, I'd be ecstatic. I think he has the mentality. I just don't know if he has the overall skill. There's obviously some question marks still about his game, so I'm gonna be interested in seeing. Also, as a killer in the playoffs, they just sort of have our problem where they don't have too many one-way guys. They have better players than us, but like not having two-way guys is our thing. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, And it is also then weird because like Brunson and Cat are so offensive oriented and not defensive oriented, but then you have Mikal Bridges and OG Anunoby. Yeah, it is odd. Yeah. The other thing too for the Knicks I actually think is kind of odd is just like who's their number 3? And like how maybe we were talking about, like we don't necessarily need like a superstar all-star number 3 option. Like we don't need a Kevin Love or a Chris Bosh, right? But you need a guy that I'm like, hey, who can we consistently, no matter what, I can get 16 points per game from you. Like, you know, you would think maybe it's OG or maybe it's Mikal Bridges, but like they're unfortunately with where they are in their careers, they're a little too inconsistent with that. And so it puts a lot more pressure on Brunson and Cat, right? To kind of lead the charge. I won't lie, I think Cat, you know, like he had a pretty good playoff run. I won't lie. So I think that's just kind of where it's odd with the Knicks, but hey, if there's a year, man, it's this upcoming year. What's going on, Rob? But yeah, it's an interesting thought. I won't lie. I do think it is interesting to keep talking about this, of where the NBA is heading, especially with the new CBA in store. But until I see a team that, like, you're telling me that you took a team of like 10 Derek White caliber guys, right, and you went and won the championship over the, you know, the all-stars on the other side of the floor, then I think we can talk about this as being like a legit thing. But I until I see 10 Derek Whites go and win a championship, then I'm not gonna buy into that, like, oh, Giddey doesn't have to be an all-star for us to win a championship, and he's like a, you know, we don't have another all-star on the roster. Like, we can just, you know, Giddey's like the best player on the roster, and he's a quality NBA starter, and we'll win. I'm like, when did this happen? Like, tell me when that ever has happened in the NBA, where a, you know, potentially the 15th best point guard in the league is the best player on your roster goes and wins the championship. Like, I don't see it. I've never seen that happen before. Yeah, maybe you don't need a top 5 guy, but I don't think the Bulls even have a top 10 caliber guy on their squad right now. Maybe it's a second game, maybe it's Buzelis, but still, like, we're not there yet. Hence why I still don't know where the Bulls are going right now. Hence why when it comes to this whole poll that was recently sent out, I'm just like, I'm kind of shocked at how many people said that they're satisfied or neutral. Yeah, like Viper Strike said, it's probably just some email list that they had about, you know, for Bulls fans that bought some tickets. So don't know how trustworthy they are at the end of the day. But yeah, ER hopping in the stream, thank you for tuning in. I sincerely appreciate y'all tuning in here. Yeah, if you did miss the earlier part of streams of the stream here, I did go ahead and talk about a couple of things that did not relate to the Bulls. So if you want to talk about any of this stuff, let me know. I want to go ahead and kind of recircle back to it. But last time we chatted, Luka Doncic did not have this extension, but he did re-up with the Lakers. So pretty big win for the Lakers, at least in my opinion. But I think it's also a good move for Doncic at the end of the day. Fox also signed a max or got a max contract extension with the San Antonio Spurs. You know, I did talk about this briefly about, like, you know, it's interesting to see the kind of reactions on Twitter about this deal. I think it's good for the Spurs, but I have seen some arguments why it's not. But to me, I think it's a good move for the Spurs. You got to maximize Wembanyama's time here. Because unfortunately, if you're a Spurs fan, you have Kawhi Leonard PTSD, where, you know, Leonard was supposed to be the franchise moving forward, and all of a sudden he wants out. So, like, Wemby, like, you should, in theory, have like another 7 years of control over him if he re-signs for a max, you know, for the 5-year max after his rookie deal. But if he, you know, just kind of randomly wants out after that, then it's like, okay, you have 7, like, maybe you only have 6 years, right? If he only sends a 4-year extension, like, you only have 6 years to win a championship with Wemby if you're the Spurs then. Which I don't know if Wemby would be the guy to kind of just leave, but I mean, it's NBA, right? So weird things have happened. So I do think that it is important for the Spurs to be maximizing Wemby's time here. So, like, you can't just, like, wait for Dylan Harper to develop. Like, I think Harper's gonna be great, but it's rookie season Harper. So we'll see what does happen here. It's not it's not listed in pictures, but here I did talk about this. Mazzulla just got a contract extension. Pretty big for Mazzulla, honestly, because he's going to go into a pretty rough year overall, which I think the Celtics are still gonna be good. Like Jaylen Brown is, as much as I do kind of critique him for the last year he had, which it was not exactly a great year for Jaylen Brown last year. The efficiency was bad. I mean, he's still a good player. You look at what the moves the Celtics have done. No Tatum for this upcoming season, supposedly, right? And then you trade away Holiday, you trade away Porzingis, and so you just basically have Brown and Derek White and other guys, right? It is gonna be interesting to see what's gonna happen. So like, it's gonna be a rougher year for the Celtics and Missoula, but it's good that he got the contract extension now, to not really have to think about like, oh, I gotta, you know, this upcoming result is gonna affect my status, but it's good for Missoula. Also probably a good thing for the Celtics at the end of the day, but I don't really know the terms just yet. Missoula's a good coach, so good to see this for Missoula and co. Brad Stevens has had a very busy offseason, and he might have just wrapped it up with re-signing or getting the coach on an extension. So that's pretty good by Brad Stevens at the end of the day. Chris Boucher just went to the Celtics as well. We did just see that. And we did see this also for the Celtics. So like they made some like here and there moves. So but nothing too crazy at the end of the day. Oh yeah, also this did happen. I forgot about, I didn't even talk about this yet, but Bridges signed a 4-year extension, $150 million. It's a little bit less than the max he could have gotten on an extension. In terms of what Bridges could have gotten if he was an unrestricted free agent, like this is a lot less. Because Bridges was not getting paid, max money beforehand. Like this extension, he can't be given a max contract extension because of how much money he's making currently, right? So I think this is a win for the Knicks. Like, Bridges, if he went into unrestricted free agency next offseason, I mean, he could have easily asked for like 5, or if he wanted to, he could have asked for like a 5-year, like easily over 200 million, like consistently. Like it probably wouldn't gone, like if he wanted to, he could have asked for that. He probably wouldn't have gotten it, but it would, at least in my opinion, would have been more expensive. So I think the Knicks did good with this. It is definitely a little bit much for Bridges, but all things considered, for a guy that has really good, 3-and-D kind of rapport around the league, and he doesn't miss any games. Like, yeah, I think this is fine. It's not like a breaking extension or anything like that. So I think this is fine, honestly. So unfortunately, it's been after like the first couple days of free agency, it's been kind of a lull period. We once we got past like July 6th when the Durant trade got official, it's just been kind of just like CP3 did go back to the Clippers, so that did also just happen. Yeah, it hasn't, not much has happened since then. I won't lie. I will not lie about that at all. All right. I want to check something here. I want to hear your guys' thoughts on this idea coming up here. So, what do you guys have that could be good for like a potential mailbag? I'm kind of thinking about like my content for this channel moving forward. Like I do have like a video idea in mind that is going to take a little bit of time. And so I don't know if that's gonna be released, honestly. Like it's gonna take some time if I'm able to get this all done, but I do have a video idea in mind. But would you guys be down for like a mailbag type of video? Because I have seen some people starting to do some of this stuff when it comes to just like off-season content, because the Bulls are in a kind of just like we're in kind of just like a waiting for the season to start type of mode. But I mean, there could be some moves made here and there. But either way, though, we are kind of in like that time where we're just like, all right, well, what's next? The Giddey contract is not gonna get resolved tomorrow, so what's next after this, y'all? But I'd be down to do like a mailbag type of thing. So if I do send it out, let me know. I'll be out here when it comes to that sort of idea, but we'll see. I have some ideas as well for upcoming content stuff here, as we are still waiting on this Giddey contract to get resolved here. And Yeah. Don't know if Vooch is gonna get waived. I seriously doubt it. That is something just to think about. But I won't be shocked. Like, I think this guy right here, if you're the Bulls, you know, I understand he's Chicago product and everything, respect, but I do think Javon Carter could get waived here. I think there's definitely a possibility because this Giddey contract is going to be like lower than what even I projected, most likely. I mean, we'll see. But if it is going to be lower than, like, you know, the $25 million mark, which is great, the Bulls are going to have some space. Like, they're going to have some space to, like, you know, sign someone to like a 5-year, like, $1 million contract, right? Or sorry, $5 million contract, right? Which would be, like, you know, using the mid-level exception. So, wait, Javon Carter, like, you won't be hitting the tax. You'll have some space, right? The tax threshold isn't too scary. So, as you can see here, like $38 million. Like, this is, you know, without the Giddey contract being signed yet. So, like, you take away like $25 million of this at max, and it's like, okay, well, now you have some money to kind of work with the mid-level exception. So, like, I think Javon Carter could get moved here as just a wave guy, and then you'll have an open roster spot with that. I don't think you're gonna be giving it to any of the two-way guys. Like, as much as I love Yuki, I think he needs to be in the G League. I doubt you're gonna give it to Manuel Miller. He did not play well in Summer League. And then Olbrich is 100% gonna be in the G League. So I doubt it's gonna go to him. And then, like, out of the Exhibit 10 guys currently, between Wooga Poplar and Caleb Grill, I don't think that they'll take the roster spot either. So you know, there are still some free agents available. It would be very Bulls to just kind of sign Russell Westbrook to a contract. I mean, that is a possibility, I guess. I guess that is something. I mean, here's just kind of like a list of just guys available. So, like, here's, you know, Giddey's still here. I seriously doubt Malik Beasley's gonna get a contract after what's been happening, but it'll be interesting to see. I mean, like, Westbrook's still here. You know, if we want some shooting, that Seth Curry's still here. You know, DeLon Wright's a pretty alright player, but I wouldn't really want him, honestly. Forget the restricted free agents for now. Lonnie Walker's going back to some other overseas team I just saw, which just shows that we do need expansion desperately. I'm at that point. I like GP2 as a player. Don't really like him as a Bulls. Like, Trey Lyles, honestly, like, I wouldn't mind him. I think Trey Lyles wouldn't be a bad pickup. But the biggest person I probably would target would be Precious. Like, I think getting Precious would be nice. You know, wait Javon Carter. Again, this is assuming that the Giddey contract's not going to be that big. You wait Javon Carter, and then you can just, like, sign Precious to, like, a, you know, $6-7 million contract or something like that. I think it'd be a good move, especially if you're maybe potentially looking to move off of, like, Jalen Smith or something during the season, because we do have a center kind of a log jam right now. And assuming that Asengi will mostly also be in the G League, like, you know, adding more forward depth is good, but I mean, there is this sort of log jam kind of going on for the center position. So, like, you know, make a decision from, you know, between Vooch or Collins or something like that. So there is definitely things to do if you're the Bulls here. But we will see what they end up doing. I do think that everything's kind of on hold until, like, a bunch of these restricted free agent decisions get done here with their contracts and everything. You know, this is still happening. So once that kind of gets done, then I think that we'll be all right. And we'll kind of get, like, a gauge of, like, hey, can we wage Javon Carter and open up a roster spot for somebody else to spend some money on? Can we trade Vooch or something, please, for the love of God? But personally, I really do not want Io to be traded. It seems like he will be staying, according to Casey Johnson. That's, like, kind of the gauge he's been getting. So keeping Io, I think, is a good decision. But then, like, there are then some decisions to be made between, like, Terry and Phillips. Like, I think Phillips has done enough from me last season to be like, yeah, I'm keeping you around. Terry, though, I mean, I think there's a legit case just to kind of get rid of him. Especially now that Isaac Okoro's here, like, I don't really know where he's gonna get playing time. So there are some moves to potentially be made if you want to kind of set yourself up better for the future. And I wouldn't mind if the Bulls do go ahead and make those moves. I would love it if some team would take Kevin Herter. I doubt they will though on that much money, which is annoying, but it is what it is. All right. You guys have any other thoughts we want to talk about? You want to talk about the Giddy thing one more time? Do we want to any other Bulls news, honestly, that we want to hit on, like rumors, I guess? Because I mean, I as much as I haven't really been that active on social media, I have been following. I do follow around here. Oh, I guess if you are just tuning in to stream here, we did get some of these matchups here. So opening night matchups and Christmas Day matchups. If you have not seen this yet, I think these are pretty good, especially for opening night, man. Like, I am looking forward to this opening night. These are great matchups. Looking forward to it. Oh yeah, Eurobasket's going on. It seems like that. It seems like that. That Montes Buzelis will not be taking part in Eurobasketball, which is a little bit disappointing. But like, I also get it. You know, obviously don't risk injury, but like, I wouldn't have minded it at the end of the day. But I do think that it is all right. But we did get that notice, I think, that we saw. And we're gonna use everyone this season. Playing time isn't gonna be a problem, really. I mean, it is gonna be kind of interesting to look at because like the Bulls don't typically run two bigs, right? And so like this is even assuming this thing is gonna be in the G League. Like you're Patrick Williams, Montes Buzelis, like Julian Phillips, Isaac Okoro, Galen Terry. Like I was listing out the forwards here, and then Jalen Smith maybe sometimes. Like it is gonna be kind of tough. Now injuries, right? But I'm just trying to figure out like time for all these guys. Maybe all right. Like maybe it is gonna be a full out investment into that. Hey, depth is so damn important that we're gonna be playing a 15-man rotation somehow. Be the Spurs of like the 2012, 13, 14 Spurs. I don't really see a world where that happens, honestly, but I don't know. I guess there's maybe a world. I guess we just maybe need to account for injuries. And maybe I doesn't start the season healthy because of his shoulder issue. Patrick Williams, I guess that is the one guy that's just like you can never rely on him being ever healthy. So like that will open up some time for sure. Zach Collins also is never trustworthy in terms of his health. So that's definitely another guy. I guess that I'm kind of not really considering. But I mean, Buzelis played all 82 last season. If I'm not mistaken, right? Or maybe he played 80. But either way, like he was available all season long. He played 80. Okay, well, I mean, yeah. But I don't know, man. It's gonna be really odd. Because I don't understand how the center rotation is gonna work if all three of these guys are available. Because like I don't think playing Jalen Smith at the 4 is really an option at the end of the day. So if all three of these guys can be available, then like Vooch is gonna have to like take a serious amount of like minutes off of his time. Like Vooch is gonna see a serious minutes cut, and like all three of them get like 16 minutes a game, which is just not possible. But I guess that'd be kind of the idea. I'm assuming like this is my vision of the starting lineup, but like you know, assuming Giddy's back. Like I'm assuming it's gonna be Giddy, Kobe, Okoro, Buzelis, and Vucevic. But then like the main guys off the bench, Io's your first guard off the bench, along with Trey Jones, which Io can play the 3 and honestly some of the 4 as well. But like your main guys off the bench are gonna be Io, Trey Jones, Patrick Williams, and probably Collins. That's already 9, right? So then, like, where's everyone else fit in? Like, no, that's not like Dalen Terry, Phillips, Smith. Oh, I forgot about Herter. Oh my God, hold on, I forgot about Kevin Herter. God, Okay, wait, no. So, starting lineup, assuming that they don't start Kevin Herter because they're going to want defense. So it's be Giddy, Kobe, Okoro, Buzelis, and Vooch. Off the bench, I mean, it's already a logjam, bro. Yeah, it's be Io, Trey Jones, Kevin Herter. So I guess your 10 would be including Kevin Herter, Patrick Williams, and Zach Collins. And then you're just going to have to figure out the rest. So, like, where's Smith, Dalen Terry, and Julian Phillips fit in? This is already putting Javon Carter, if he's still on the squad, on the perma bench, and then Asengi goes to the G League. So there's your 13 guys that will mostly get time. I mean, is them continuing the full run, everything is a fast break. I mean, I agree with you with that. But still, though, there's only 48 minutes in a game. Like, it like, even if, let's say, you break it up into, like, 24 minutes for everybody, like, one, it's kind of like, it's kind of hard to get a gauge on some of these guys if you're just, like, everyone gets 24 minutes, like, at the starting lineup. Like, how do you really gauge if, like, hey, is Buzelis taking the step forward? Is Giddy turning into the guy that you need him to turn into? That's kind of the tough part about it, but I will say, like, I think that the guys, like, for example, like the vets, the way that you should play it, if the vets like Collins, Vucevic, Herter, and, you know, Carter, I guess you could put in the list, but he's not really playing anyway. Like, those guys shouldn't be, like, playing a heavy amount of minutes, if that makes any sense. Like, those guys really shouldn't be getting heavy minutes at the end of the day. So, like, if they only get, like, 12 minutes a night, sure. Like, yeah, I'm cool with that, personally. And so that allows time for, like, guys like Dalen Terry and Phillips and Smith to get some time out there. Sure, I'd be fully down with it. Philly just doesn't typically do that, though. That's just my only thing. Yeah. I have a tough time kind of seeing it. I think Buzelis and Giddy will be the ones getting full minutes. Okay, so, like, let's say Buzelis and Giddy, they're getting, like, 32 minutes a night. Like, and that's even on the lower end. Like, because, like, I think that they could probably get, like, 34. But that means then, like, guys like Kobe, guys like Okoro, like, we're talking them getting, like, maybe, like, 26 to 28 minutes a night, right? And then you're seeing, like, Vucevic is not going to have that many. Yeah, so I can maybe see a world where maybe that can work out. I honestly probably need to go into, like, a 2K sim or like a 2K, I don't even know what the fucking mode is called anymore at this point. But, you know, do, like, a 2K, like, whole, like, GM sim and, like, build the rotation that's in my head and, like, split up the minutes. But, yeah, I can maybe see a world. I can maybe see a world where that's the case, where it's, like, if you're really heavily prioritizing Giddy and Buzelis only, then, like, they get most of the minutes and, like, everyone else is, like, kind of spread. I can see a world. It's tough. I mean, if the game is fast, then it's tough to get guys in and out fast, you know? He was doing that towards the end, but wasn't Kobe also getting, like, a heavy amount of minutes towards the end as well? Here, let me actually go back. Maybe I need to refresh my memory, because, like, towards the end, we have to remind ourselves, like, Giddy was injured a lot. Giddy missed, like, some games towards the end due to his injury. I got him back. Come on. This is Summer League. God damn it. Can I change it? Oh, perfect. Okay, like, let's just do this game. Do I have to recap it? What do I mean, this is not even an OT game, and this is, okay, maybe I shouldn't look at this game, because, like, this was a very crucial game for the Bulls to win, to keep their, to make sure they got the home game for the play-in tournament. But, like, I mean, Giddy got 40 minutes in this game. Maybe I shouldn't look at this one, but let me look at the other games here. Yeah, like, maybe this one's good. And this was also an important game. Maybe this is not fun. I mean, this is a 10-man rotation at least, but I mean, still, like, guys getting heavy minutes. Let me look at that. That Philly game is weird though, because like, Giddy didn't play in that one. I mean, we don't. Yeah, that was an L. Let's do his Utah game. Let's just look at this one. Hey, I mean, this was definitely a little bit more spread. No Giddy. I just realized that. Okay, yeah, I forgot no Giddy in this one. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. That'd be interesting to watch. This is a little bit more spread out, right? Buzel's only got 30 minutes in this one. But, like, Vooch is still getting 30. Kobe still got 35. So I don't know. That'll be tough. We saw substantial DT minutes towards the end of the season? Really? I think that was that, like, I can maybe argue that was more so out of necessity though, right? Like, who else are you gonna play? Because, like, if you don't have Giddy, then, like, yeah, DT can, like, take some of those minutes. But I mean, like, Kobe was still getting, like, a heavy amount of minutes still. Like, that's just kind of my thing. Because, like, Kobe last season, like, yeah, he had some struggles. But it seems like the Bulls are trying to invest in him a little bit, right? So, I mean, how many minutes did he average? He averaged 33 minutes per game last season. So, like, that's going to have to go down. So, like, I mean, I'm just saying, like, if he's going to start and we're going to try to take away some minutes, like, well, I thought it has to be, like, this range. Like, about 28 minutes per game for him to, like, spread out the minutes a little bit more. Which, honestly, that might be the right decision. Yeah, you are right that Smith was, like, the one guy out. Yeah, Smith was, like, the lone man out for sure. Yeah, hold on, I just want to see here. Let's go to... Yeah, okay, so in April it just went down. March though, this was still high. Like, this is the highest it ever had been. Let's go to DT. Because I do think that Dalen did play more down the stretch, but, like, also Giddy missed some time, so, like, he just kind of slid in. Which, again, I guess that's what we should be accounting for. Like, you know, guys will miss some time. Yeah, I mean, yeah, he did increase his minutes for sure. 60 minutes per game in March, 15 games. Yeah, that's definitely legit. Let's look at Phillips. Also, I guess it is also important to remind ourselves that Trey Jones also did miss time. I didn't mean hit shooting, I meant to hit splits. And this also did go up. Interesting. Okay. So these guys got more time, but this is... Oh, we're forgetting the most important factor of this, honestly, Viper Strike. Honestly, I don't blame you if you forgot about this. Lonzo was out, right? Lonzo missed the entire post deadline, so that's a lot of time, right? Like, Lonzo missing post deadline, like, he didn't play a game, so that's time, yeah. And honestly, I completely forgot about that just because Lonzo doesn't play in general, so that is my fault. But Okoro's here now, right? So Okoro sliding in takes away the minutes for, like, guys like Phillips and Terry. That's also pretty important to remember. So yeah, that also did happen. Yeah, that'll be interesting to watch. Maybe, I won't lie, here's what could actually happen here, and I won't be shocked if it does. Like, maybe Okoro doesn't play, like, starter level minutes. Like, he might start, but, like, he might never finish a game. And honestly, I'd be okay with that. Like, I think we can get enough that, like, if, let's say Okoro only plays, like, 20 minutes a night, like, he'll start, right? Like, he'll start the game, but, like, he'll pull, like, a Jerry Grant where, like, he'll only play, like, 8 minutes and, like, he'll never finish a game. Like, I think we can get enough out of those minutes for Okoro where we're like, hey, like you are only playing 20 minutes a game, and honestly, if you're ever gonna like be something, you might only play 20 minutes a game for us. That opens up a lot more minutes for guys off the bench, right? Like, so if we're trying to like see more guys off the bench, or just add more minutes for Buzelis, right? Taking away minutes from Okoro, even though he's starting, would be a good way to do it. That's a good way to start for sure. I wouldn't be shocked if that is the case then, if like that is the plan, to get the minutes for Herter and for Patrick Williams and Buzelis. So we'll definitely look out for that. Yeah, for Zoe to suddenly start playing all 82 when he's wearing captures. Oh, bro, if Lonzo can get through all 82, man, it's gonna be interesting to watch. I hope it happens, man. I think he's honestly in a really good spot with the Cavs. Like, now, granted, it will be interesting to see what the Cavs do here, but assuming that they're all healthy, like I think he's in a great spot to thrive, where he can kind of, in a sense, kind of play like the Caruso role, but he doesn't, have to play like 28 minutes a night or something like that. Like he's gonna be able to just kind of play like a consistent like 20 or less minutes per game and be pretty effective, guard 1 through 3. Like, yeah, I think he'll be in a good spot. I hope it happens, man. Like, if he's healthy, that's a very nice piece to have in the playoffs, especially for this upcoming year in the playoffs. Throwing him on like a Jalen Brunson, for example, would be a fantastic thing to have for the Cavs in a playoff run, where you can throw him on like a Jalen Brunson. And honestly, I mean, like you can throw him on a lot of different guys if he's healthy. So yeah, I definitely be interested in seeing if that's the plan. But gotta get healthy, bro. Hope everything. I mean, it wasn't even the knee this year, man. It was the hand that had him miss a ton of games. It's just wrap him up in bubble wrap when he's not playing, bro. Do anything possible, and honestly, make him wear bubble wrap when he's playing. All right, y'all. Tonight, if you did not see it in the title, we are going to be doing a little bit something different here. So first and foremost, thank you for y'all for checking in on the stream. It's got a little bit of a return stream here, so I'm sure some people weren't aware of like, oh yeah, he's streaming today, which I sent it out late. That's my fault. But I appreciate y'all checking in. We're doing a little bit something different here. So I am going to be heading over to my Twitch channel here. If you do not know, I do have this Twitch channel here for gaming and stuff. So I am not streaming that in a bit, but I do plan on getting some stuff going here, and it's going to start today. Where we're going to start something different. So I'm going to be streaming on that channel right after this stream ends here, as I want to go ahead, as I got permission here to go ahead and watch party a professional Valorant game. So this is kind of what I, especially during the off season, like this is when Valorant or esports is like in the middle of its peak here. So this game here is about to start here, and I got permission to watch it. So we're gonna go ahead and shift things over to that channel that I posted into the chat here. So if you're interested in watching a professional Valorant game with me, please go ahead and hop on over to the Twitch channel here, as I'm gonna start the stream immediately. And we're gonna watch party this. I'm really excited for this, because this would be like a first time thing for me. So I'm really looking forward to doing this here. But I just want to say thank you guys for all tuning into this stream here and talking with me with NBA news, which I know it's definitely a dead period in the NBA, which I think honestly we just kind of need to just embrace it, because we don't usually get a lot of periods like this, and so it's gonna be fun watching Euro basketball and everything like that going on right now, and kind of focus on some other things. But I'm sure we're all just kind of waiting for this Giddy contract to get resolved, and we will be making sure we take care, do our due diligence with the content once it does happen. But thank you for tuning into the little catch-up stream here, and hope to see you guys on the Twitch channel, as we're gonna hop over here and watch this game. It's a lot of fun watching. If you're not into professional Valorant, I think it's a lot of fun watching it. It's a lot of strategy, and so if you do want to go ahead and watch this with me, please feel free. It's gonna be a lot of fun. This is a good matchup, by the way, so it's like it really shouldn't be like a horrible game, but it's also like it's gonna be a good matchup. So down there, link is into the chat right now. It's the last posted message on my Twitch channel. If you have not already followed that channel, please do. It's gonna be a lot of fun. as we are going to be doing some stuff there, because we are in the dead of the off season. So I'm looking forward to doing some stuff on it though. But thank you guys so much. If you're not already, hit the like button on the stream, please do, whether you're watching right now or watching the VOD. Any like helps. I sincerely do appreciate all the support. I'll be looking forward to the next stream on here and for more streams to come. But thank you guys so much. Heading over to the Twitch channel right now. So see you guys in just a minute if you're going to be hopping over there. But thank you guys so much for today. I'll see y'all next time. Peace out.